A poorly resolved conflict is 10 times better than war. And in conflict, it is the common man that feels the heat, and it is the common man that feels the impact. During the First and Second World War, in every 10 persons killed, 8 were soldiers and those actively involved in the conflict. According to recent statistics and survey, war brings division, anarchy, chaos, bitterness, hatred, betrayal, and puts families apart, and war also is not good for the economy of the country, as lives and properties will therefore be destroyed. And any place where war occurs, the persons and properties of those areas will never be the same, and the pain will never be erased in the minds of people. When we look at the current situation in the Northwest and Southwest and in other wars across the world, currently, now in every 10 persons killed, 8 are civilians. Whether it is a war in the Northwest and Southwest region, or it is the ongoing war which is in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine, or it is the war in Libya, or that in Syria. No matter where the war is, the debacle in Afghanistan, in every 10 persons killed, 8 are civilians. And that is why war is not good. But those who fantasize war are those who have never felt the pain of the mothers and fathers who hear the sound of bullet trip under the floor. Those who have never experienced war are those who fantasize it, and they have never seen how the mothers and fathers run for their lives. They have never felt the pain of those who are caught between the conflict. They have never seen how those affected by it are actually crying. They are just there fantasizing and blaming each other. In all of this, therefore, there is a clarion call for those within the ambit of the Northwest and Southwest region to have a rethink as far as the conflict is concerned, and also to understand that a poorly resolved conflict is 10 times better than war. A poorly resolved conflict will, however, bring peace, will, however, avert division, will, however, avert chaos, will, however, avert mistreatment of people and lives and properties in those localities. Since the anglophone crisis started in early 2016, late 2016 and early 2017, when it metamorphosed into a full-blown armed conflict after the September 22 debacle, where thousands of people moved to the streets from Gokitunja right down to Kwakwa, to Nakebole, Ekumbe, move up to Moya, Ekona, when thousands of people moved to the streets. Since then, the story of the common man have changed as far as that is concerned. The mothers and fathers keep crying the loss of their children under the guise of stray bullet. And let it be clear, there is nothing as stray bullet. Bullets don't stray. Man stray. Somebody pulls the trigger with an intention to kill, with an intention to cause damage, with an intention. There is also what we call in law, mens rea equals actus real. The intention. You know fully well that pulling that trigger will actually send out a bullet. If a bullet is sent out, it can actually get somebody, and the person may either die or badly injured or permanently damaged as far as that is concerned. So therefore, the adage of stray bullet is defeated in all circumstances. There is nothing as stray bullet. Bullets don't stray. A gun in itself doesn't kill. A human being needs to use that gun to kill. And that is why we are asking the question, how many more houses will need to be burned down before the belligerent in the Northwest and Southwest, together with those actively in the conflict, put an end to this conflict? How many more students will need to be kidnapped before we put an end to the conflict? How many more villages will need to be burned down before we put an end to this conflict? How many more women and girls will need to be raped before we put an end to this conflict? How many more of those who are actually being arrested or kidnapped by the belligerent we need to be arrested or kidnapped before we put an end to this conflict? How many more civilians we need to die before we put an end to this conflict? The nation was on its knees praying when the Ngabu incident occurred on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, the nation cried. Baby Mata was killed in Moyuka. Ayafo Florence was also killed in Bamenda. We also had the incident in Kwakwa where tens of people were killed, not to talk of those who were massacred by separatist fighters under the guise of Black Legs, that in Gokitunja. Not to even talk about the situation of Bebe, a girl who was brutally slaughtered in Moyuka in Makanga. The situation is really, really deplorable. Not to talk of those who were killed recently in Bamenda by unidentified gunmen. What of our mothers who were beaten, shot on their legs? What of our brothers and sisters who, by appreciating the head of state gesture in the construction of roads in the northwest, were kidnapped? Not to talk about the Indian 5 and the Indian 6 as it is called. Not to talk about those who were killed in Moya. The situation is deplorable, and the pains in the heart of people keep ravaging on, and they are asking one simple question: where did they go wrong? What will need to be done to resolve this conflict? The pain, the bitterness, the sorrow, and the anger will never be eroded in the minds of the people. For us to have true and genuine peace, we must keep aside our fantasy. We must keep aside the drumming, the drums of war. We must look at each other as human beings. We are created in the image and likeness of God in what is called the Imago Dei. And so therefore, we must look at what unites us more than what divides us. And what unites us, it is the human beings that we are all created, respectfully disagreeing to agree and see each other as our brother's keeper. And that is why the highest commandment in the church and the Bible states that you shall love your neighbor as yourself, and as Christ loved you, and thou shalt not kill. Regardless of who you are, you must understand that we disagree to agree. And so we are asking the question, the pain, the bitterness, and the sorrow of the Bamenda Massacre, which happened last week Sunday. Today Sunday makes 1 week. Will justice be served? 15 were killed, 10 were announced. What of the 5? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Jarvis. You're welcome back from that transition. And if you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons, we want to say happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert and wife Joan in United States of America, and the entire family, Simon, and of course Micah. We want to say happy Sunday to all of you. We want to say happy Sunday to those of you watching us on TV, and Antoinette Abadum. Happy Sunday to you. We want to say happy Sunday to all those who are watching us on different social media platforms. Today's program, we are joined by Mr. Kimbang Vitalis, who is a member of the Commons People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, to discuss on this issue about the Bamenda Massacre, the pain, the sorrow, and the anger. Will justice be done? He is someone that works in Bamenda and is only here during the weekend. Mr. Kimbang Vitalis, thanks for joining us. The nation is in pain, and in Bamenda is in pain.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jarvis. Thank you, all the televiewers. Truly, the nation is in pain, particularly Bamenda, where we have the fear of the unknown. People don't know who will be the next. So people are living in total fear. And I think that this is the time to start drumming, to start saying that the war should come to an end. Or if not possible, we should have another second dialogue that's going to end this war once and for all.
Thank you very much. We are also joined by Song Derrick, who is a member of the civil society and very objective when it comes to looking at issues critical of our nation, with thinking that things must be done the right way. Regardless of how you see it, it must be done, and nobody is supposed to be below or above the law. And also, he is someone that believes in fairness, justice, equity. And Song Derrick, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tah Mai Jarvis, for the opportunity. Thanks to the million viewers of my Media Prime, especially House of Common. And of course, I'm greeting my co-panelists. And I pray that the discussion should be a fair one, like you said, a transparent one. And those that matter should be able to listen and take down notes in order to end this carnage. In a very special way, I extend my heartfelt condolence to the families that lost their loved ones in Bamenda and elsewhere, and especially to my people in Belo, in Boyo, who have been in a lockdown for almost a month or so, and this lockdown is perpetuated by both the military and non-state armed forces.
Also here in the studio we have no other than Christain Tebong, who is someone that monitors the Cameroon media landscape and political issues across the nation, and he is also an opinion leader as far as issues of Cameroon is concerned, and someone that has a good knowledge about the conflict in the northwest region. He is here with us. Christain Tebong, thanks for joining us, and of course, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you, Tah Mai Jarvis. Happy Sunday to televiewers. I want to say a very happy one to the people of the Northwest and the Southwest region, the people whom have been in the news for quite some time. I'm happy to share the plateau with an objective CPDM militant like Mr. Fidelis, who is Vitalis, who is right here. He's very objective, and that's somebody, when I watch him on television, I see another vision that is growing up in the CPDM. He lives in Bamenda. You will be surprised that he lives in Bamenda, he works in Bamenda, and he is so objective. He knows the reality on the ground. I think I'm happy to be with you this Sunday.
Are you by chance putting him on a tight corner?
I am not I'm not putting him on the tight corner, but I'm just saying that with issues that matter, with issues that we need to handle with care, we should do that with care. And he is objective because he knows, he feels the pain of the people.
Why don't you have us start the topic?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
When it comes to the matter of life, we should be very objective because life has no duplicate.
Of course, life has no duplicate. And one artist whom I respect so much in Dr. Slee, who probably still not singing, a Cameroonian artist, sang a song that every night and day still feel the pain when the dark clouds cover the edges of the world and suicide becomes an option to be free and human blood became the colors of rainbow. There was a world of many diseases, and today we cannot succeed, and that his focus was on war, and that how long will it take for war to come to an end. And he was also talking about the issue in the northwest and southwest region, and that we must drop our guns, that someone should tell them to stop the guns. And we'll begin the program with you, Mr. Kimbang, the debacle in Bamenda, from your analysis, what actually happened.
Yes, Mr. Jarvis, it happened on Sunday when I was here. So when I went to Bamenda, you know, there were various versions about the whole happening. The first one was about the 5 children who were killed. We learned the children were clubbing and they went with their friends into a house. And while there, it is said that they discovered that they will come back very late in the morning, or that they will come in the morning. So they tried to trick their mother by saying that they have been kidnapped by the Amber boys. Then one of the mother who panicked ran to the military and reported the matter to the military. So the military now tracked the number and reached where the children were. So when they reached there, as I heard, they tried to knock the door, nobody opened, then they opened the door with the grenade. Then the 5 boys who were there were killed, and the girls taken and given back to their mother, just for the military to discover that those boys were not Amber boys. That is sometimes when we blame the military, sometimes we tend again to look at this type of event and say, how can we really, yes, blame them? Then the second one was those that were killed at the Nancho. It is said that some of them were taken from their houses and brought to Nancho, and they were shot there and killed. Then on Tuesday evening, we were gunshot again, and we got up in the morning. We learned that 3 persons, 3 corpses were lying somewhere around that area. Thursday again, they were gunshots in the night. On Wednesday night, breaking Thursday, then we learned that there was a certain Calvin, a Baba, who was shot and killed. See, on the same Thursday again, one pa, I learned that he went and carried a bag around the new finance, where there was an improvised device inside. Maybe he thought that it was an iron, because they said that it's somebody who moves around picking iron. So when he picked it and went with it to his house, that's the version I heard, it exploded and killed him. At this particular moment, with all this happening, people are very, very afraid, because you don't know what is next. And so when you listen to some of these versions, everybody has his own version. So just because normally we cannot say that this is the exact versions, except the investigation are carried out and we actually know what exactly happened. Somebody told me that the 2 girls who tricked their mother, that they are locked up. So that is something that I cannot really confirm. Then on Thursday again, there was a march which was organized by the funds. The funds of the regional House of Assembly. The House of Chiefs. Yes, unfortunately, when I happened to have been present when the march started, it was being led by the mayor. So the march first of all led from City Chemist to T Junction and came back to the grandstand. Unfortunately, I didn't see the funds. I saw just 3 funds. I'm sure there was a fund of Gwen. There was a fund of somewhere around Womb, yes, and there was the fund of Bambalang. Who had been kidnapped for almost a year. These are the 3 funds that I saw. Then the rest were just some Okada riders and other persons. Maybe they were people of the council. Notwithstanding, the population, in Bamenda, people are very afraid. Coming out to denounce Amber is like asking the rat to put a bell in the neck of a cat. Yes. So it was, the march past took place, and there were banners written, "Stop the killing," everywhere. And so that day in Bamenda was just a day of fear. Like ghost town. It was just a mini ghost town, because the whole of Commercial Avenue was shut down from morning till around 12 o'clock. So that is the situation in Bamenda. Then when I was reading the placard, "Stop the killing," in my little knowledge, I would have loved that it should be "Stop the war," because what is happening in Bamenda now is anybody, you can be killed by anybody now. Yes, because in this war we have scores settling. People are settling scores because somebody can just break into a house, cut off your neck, and they say it's Amber Boys. So I think that this is the moment where we should be looking at how we are going to end this war and end it forever. We are all children of one nation, and no matter how much we fight, no war will end in the battlefield. We shall all one day sit on the table to talk as one person and to agree. Come and look at what is happening in Bamenda. You discover that, like what my brother said, Bamenda is completely cut off from the rest of the divisions, and that is making life so unbearable in Bamenda. But food don't more live so to Bamenda because of the ghost town, road blockage. Although they say that nothing, they have not blocked the road is wide open. You decide to have faith. Yes, you decide to have faith. You decide whether you want to leave or you don't want to leave. Then you can drive on the road. Then from Boyo 2 to come up to Bamenda is a problem. From Bengwe to come up to Bamenda is a problem. From Womb to come up to Bamenda is a problem. And around Dongamantu, land that they have blocked in Indu. So that the Amber Boys in Do have said that since the people in Kambe they are not respecting Ghost Town, means that their vehicles will not trespass Ndu. So on Saturday there was one copter that was being transported to my village, and when they reached Ndu, They have to stop and do. Then they brought a bike to carry the coffin. Those who could trek right to Binshwa, Unkambe, they did it. Then when they reached up lower board as I heard, that's where a vehicle came now and carried the corpse. So that is the difficulties that people are going through in the Northwest. So they say that when the elephant fight, the grass suffer, and that is exactly what is happening in Bamenda. There is food scarcity, and there is that fear. So people don't have confidence moving in town freely now. Everybody is afraid. Okay. So we are calling on the government that please, even if it means that we should have another dialogue where we will talk and set out these problems, government should do it. Because if we want to say that the dialogue already took place and that we cannot talk again, talking will not kill, but not talking is killing. So I prefer that we talk more than not talking. Because the more, a conflict is not a problem. Conflict does not kill. What kills is the pride. You don't want to descend from your horse to say, okay, now let me humble myself and talk with my brother. That when that pride is there, and that's what the devil is using in Cameroon, pride. Some people feel that these people cannot be talked to. I cannot talk with this person because I don't consider him as part of me. Please, we are pleading that these people love this country. And when people speak ill about this country, it's not because they hate the country. Maybe because they hate what they are passing through. Yes, nobody, when you look at when Cameroonians play football, when Cameroon wins, it's quite everybody is happy. Everybody is happy. Even in Bamenda, people are happy. But now, when people look at what they are passing through, they are bound to say, I don't love this country. Whereas in their inner hearts, they love this country.
Okay. Song Derrick, you've listened to the current situation in Bamenda. We are talking about the pain and also will justice be done. He just gave the different versions about the 5 boys in a room with girls. The girls just said they have been kidnapped by Amber. Grenade was launched in an attempt to rescue those kidnapped by Amber, because after the door, normally that's a military protocol. When you knock, they refuse to open, you have to force in.
And when you force, you shoot.
No, that it was a grenade that was put in to get the door open, and unfortunately, he had to come with casualties. Not everybody died there. But when you look at the chain of events, what is your own analysis?
Thank you very much, Jarvis. I have a small problem with the storytelling. I have a problem with the storytelling because the stories being told will not change reality. The stories being told will not bring back the 10. The stories that are told will not bring back the 5 that are unaccounted for. Since we have been hearing stories, either we are hearing that it is Amber that has done this, or it is military that has done that. Till date, we are still trying to place a finger where to stop the carnage. Whether it is the military that shoots and kills, or it is Amber that shoots and kills, the issue is not to be bringing 10,000 versions of stories of who said what and who is right and who is wrong. The issue is to find out where to stop the carnage. And if we do not stop the carnage, I was listening to comments of people after the Nancho 10 incident, when somebody said this is one of the worst situations that has happened. Just imagine somebody stands and just opens fire and kills and shoots everybody. But this is the same scenario that happened when the little baby was killed in Boya. Everybody cried that it was the worst situation that happened. The little child that was killed in Bamenda, people cried that that was the worst situation. The Ngarbu incident, we cried. The Pinyi massacre and all the things that have been happening. The kidnap of the Ndian 6. Everybody kept saying the beheading and chopping of Ayafo. people said it was the worst situation. Everybody said it was worse. So every new situation is the worst. And tomorrow another one is going to happen, and people are still going to term it the worst. But the question is not about the terminology of saying that this is the worst situation. The question is, why is it persisting? What is happening that instead of looking for a solution to stop the killing, we are looking for who caused the killing, or we are looking for who shot. In your editorial, you did make mention of a phrase that I took so dear, that there is no stray bullets, because bullets don't stray, but there are stray humans that makes the bullets to stray. So when somebody dies, it is either someone with a gun has pulled the trigger, be it a man in uniform or a man in ashwabi. We know that somebody has pulled the trigger for another person to die.
It's an intention, because they know the gun can kill.
The gun kills. They don't need to. You don't need to educate them that the gun kills. I want to tell you that the military personnel fear the gun more than you and I, because they have seen the disaster of the gun. So you don't need to educate them about the dangers of the guns. So then, Jarvis, what should we be looking at? The most important resource in any nation is not mineral resources. The most important resource in any nation is the human resource. So if Cameroon is busy losing the human resource every day and every night, we are asking ourselves, in 2035, what are we going to use to emerge? Are we going to use the empty streets to emerge, or are we going to use the blood to emerge? Are we going to use the blood to build the emergence, or we are going to emerge truly? So those are the kind of things we should be asking ourselves, that if a country is playing with its human resource, what is happening? But there is something that makes me to wonder. And what is that thing? After the Nancho 10 killing, we did not hear of any militarization of the environment. We did not hear of any intervention of the military to take tracks or that. But before that 10 killing, there had been 5 which were not accounted for. And that is one thing I keep saying, that until the end of this war, this senseless war, until the war ends, you will not know where your brother is, you will not know where your sister is, and we cannot give the true account of those who have died, killed by the wild animals in the bushes, killed by the so-called stray bullets, killed by kidnapping for ransom, killed by embezzlement and corruption, killed by people who are just hungry, and killed by those who are using this crisis for score settling. Because Jarvis, after the Nancho killing, I don't need a magician to tell me that somewhere in the government in Cameroon, somewhere in Yaoundé, there is a big name, there is a big man enjoying from the goodies of this war. Because
and somewhere in the United States too.
Somewhere in the United States, somewhere anywhere, somewhere in the forest, somewhere in the bushes, somewhere with the voices in the bushes, there is someone who is eating fat from the goodies of this war. And I start asking myself some questions. If we check that there is somebody enjoying the goodies, we will not be making a mistake, because we now see non-state armed forces dressed in military attire,
yes,
acting like military, and we have seen military dressed casually and acting like the voices in the bushes. So the question is, how do we identify? Because there was a time that you could see military officials with dread and painted faces and behaving a type, because they needed to go into the crowd. So at one time, you don't know where to place a finger to point who is responsible for what. So when something happens, I just feel like there is somebody pushing the buttons. That if you feel like this tempos are coming down, you just say, please, just go and act there like the military. And if you act like the military, the Amba boys become angry and the population become angry, and then the military has to retaliate. If you act like the Amba, the military gets angry, the population gets angry, and all of them have to retaliate. So there is an effect somewhere that is being manipulated by a big name, somewhere that we are yet to place a finger on, and it is killing and destroying the human resource, which is the most important resource that a nation has to protect.
The European did not, just to corroborate what you are saying, the European did not come with a lot of issues, but they came with human resource. Look at where they are. We have a lot of resource, material and agricultural resources, minerals, but we are poor. But they don't have some of these resources. I'll take on the message for coming to you, Christain Tebong. Good morning, Jarvis. Your guest from Bamenda is one of the most objective CPDM that I have ever seen. He should tell his party chairman, who is the head of state, to convene another dialogue. His party big barons are the ones holding Cameroon hostage. This is Nkwan Jacob from Kumbu. This other right, he says, a moderator. Mr. Moderator, help me greet Mr. Vitalis. This is Felix Tah in Bamenda. We met near the visit technique off station a few days ago.
Yeah, I know. I want to say good morning, Mr. Tah.
And this other right, he says, good afternoon to you guys in the studio. Such an interesting topic with a lot of lessons. This is Abang Louis from Yaoundé, alias Young Money, Mr. Jarvis. Young Money, message gotten. And this one, right, it says, happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. Nice program. The responsibility of this should be on the shoulders of the government, because the government is the one in charge. The government is the one that can determine whether or not the crisis should come to an end. This other message, right, it says, happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think we are not serious in this country, because we cannot have a road not physically blocked, but blocked in the northwest region, and people not being able to pass through the road. You see the road, nothing is blocked in the road, but the road is actually blocked. I don't know whether it's blocked by spiritual forces or by demons, or demons just appear to come and kill people and go back. Maybe we need an Akeba in that area of the road so that people can actually go. Let me come back to you. 10 killed, 15 killed, 10 announced. What is the situation? Will justice be done?
Thank you very much, my dear brother Jarvis. I listened keenly to Mr. Vitalis, because he is the one on the ground. He has given us an X-ray. He has X-rayed the situation in the Northwest Regional Capital, Bamenda. It is with heavy heart that I come today, because our people are dying. Our people did not choose to die, but maybe somebody chose for them. 5 were killed.
10, 15 were killed.
5 were killed earlier.
Yeah.
And 10 killed later. 10 announced, and people went out to march. Maybe the circumstances that 10 were killed, and maybe the 10 were more valuable. Maybe numbers too. The 10 are bigger than 5. But I will say, Jarvis, that the situation in Bamenda is a situation everyone is afraid to talk about. No one wants to talk about the situation. And if we are afraid to talk about the situation on ground, then that is how we'll continue to record dead bodies every day. You will listen to Vitalis, who said, when you hear gunshots, know that either somebody is dying or somebody is being kidnapped. That is the true situation. It is true.
Yeah, he said on Sunday there was killing. On Monday there were gunshots. They discovered some people were killed. On Wednesday they were breaking. Thursday they were shooting, and they ended up discovered that somebody was killed. And Thursday again somebody picked up a metallic stuff, not knowing that it was an explosive, and that there was a march announced by Northwest House of Chiefs, but only 3 chiefs turned out, and a lot of the chiefs did not turn out.
Yes. I want to go step by step. Jarvis, he said, yeah, I want to go step by step. I am saying that if you look at the circumstances that surround the killing of the 5 guys, whom some thought they were Amber Boys, or they were really Amber Boys or not. All is that 5 guys were brutally murdered by maybe some group of people who wanted to rescue some another group of people, and they were killed. Maybe somebody told lies because the situation is fragile. We don't know who to run to. The people of the Northwest and Southwest are confused. Now, if we may ask ourselves, when will this war end? Is a $1 million question that many don't even know how to answer it. There are certain things I will say here that Jarvis would like to put a headway, would like to draw some maps on how we can end this crisis. My brother over there, Song Derrick, said, surely somebody somewhere is eating fat on the war. I believe yes. You cannot imagine that, for instance, the governor of the Northwest region, perhaps when the incident of the 5 that were killed happened, he was out of the region. He did not respond to the 5 that were killed. But shortly after the 10 were murdered
in
Nancho, he responded from Yaoundé. I'm not saying that maybe it's his fault not to respond to the 5 that were killed, but I feel that the local population and the local administrative authorities in the region have to take their responsibility. We are saying that we have to be marching. Whenever there's any incident, we march, and the incident continue. Or are we saying that we should march and let the incident end? I've seen that since the crisis started, we have been marching.
We marching in Kumba, the Kimbang Massacre. We march in Bongo Square. We march everywhere.
The little girl was killed.
We marched.
We march. With this march.
And some people make money from this. Like some people are making money from this.
Some people are making money and they're making name. Yeah, some people. The last organizers of the last march. They were now the organizers. Who organized the last march? The funds of the Northwest regions. And unfortunately, the funds were not there. Even I want to say here that everybody watched that the landlord where the incident happened was not there.
It was at the Yaoundé for the governor's conference.
I am not the fund. The landlord
okay,
of the area.
Yes, the fund.
The fund of he was not there. I'm not lying. he was not there. Maybe he sent a representative. Maybe in court he did not want to march. Maybe he wanted to use his own method to solve the problem. But Jarvis, there's something that bothers me. Why is it that it's easy for police officers in other regions to track down criminals, gendarmerie officers to track down criminals who commit crimes, who terrorize the people, steal people's property, and it's difficult for our soldiers who are trained and they have all the echelons, that it is difficult for them to track down those who are perpetrating killings, carry out killings in the Northwest and Southwest region. We were here on this plateau last time. We were talking about the divisional delegates
in Jan 5.
Jan 5, that one guy went on air saying that they killed. Until
now, we have not had an official communique from the government and also from the senior divisional officer of Meme and Dian to ascertain, to say whether or not what he said was true, or if the Jan 5 are still alive.
Yeah, I'm also thinking that the advent of the DDR Center is not doing us any good. Since the creation of the DDR Center, we've noticed that the activities of the Amber Boys is steadily on the rise. Maybe because the approach taken, that the government of this nation is taking 2 steps ahead. That is, they run ahead than to follow the various steps in resolving conflict. You are an expert in conflict resolution. Creating a DDR center where boys who commit crimes and they go and hide there. And I've always said here that you see boys on social media every day insulting people. You even see military people having Facebook pages that they go there and talk and brandish their weapons. Sir, it is unheard of in any country, even in DR Congo, that people have been fighting there for over 40 years. You know it. the approach in this nation, politics in this nation that is embedded in everything.
So you are saying that politics has spoiled everything?
We are taking politics.
Okay, let me take on some messages before coming to Mr. Kimbang. Good morning, Mr. Jarvis, panelists. I'm enjoying the show. The problem is the government. The problem is that the government is not willing to end this crisis. The war can stop within 24 hours if there is willingness from the government, but how will they stop it when some persons are feeding fat from the war? I cry whenever I see my anglophone brothers being killed every day and the government is doing nothing. Is it that our lives don't matter? However, if the government is not willing to put an end to this senseless war, then we the anglophone can take our destiny into our own hands by doing the right thing to end this war. We can't just keep dying like flies because of fear. James, writing from Boya. This other right, it says, good sir, the population should stop crying over these boys. They know actually where these boys are. The population can actually stop the killing. This is Benisa Prince Will. I'm more from Yaoundé. Sorry if that name is wrongly pronounced. I apologize. Thank you, Song Derrick, for your good work. Bro, may God bless you. This is Irma from Com. This one right, he said, thanks for the talking point. I hope when they say unidentified armed men, for me it sounds very poor because from the bullet, the investigator can identify the source of the bullet. By then, justice can be done. Yembe Divine, writing from Chang. This all right. He says, "Good morning, Mr. Jarvis. What happened in Bamenda is so excruciating. If the separatist fighters are now killing, but the anglophones, it means there's more to this that our eyes can't see. It's high time all anglophones stop these separatist fighters before they finish us. We can always dialogue with the government without all these killings. There is no achievement in all of this fighting. We have inflicted so much pain on us. Increment of transport prices because of so many police control on the roadside. We need to stop the senseless fighting." Martinez Tera, writing from Bamenda. Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio, to the studio and the analyst. It is Stephen from Yaoundé. I think the government has the final say as to end the crisis or not. If she can't put an end to the killings, then we will keep seeing the wars and worse killings. Let the government take responsibility to bring an end to this conflict. Kimbang.
Yes, I want to say that when we're talking about justice, can justice be saved? There is nothing as justice to be saved when a person has already died. For example, look at the young man who died in Bamenda with the wife, Simplice, and he left behind his 7 years old.
The newlywed couple.
Yes, he left 3 children. One is a small baby, then one is 7, then the other one is 4. There's no way you can bring justice to those children because their father will never come back. Even if you arrest those who killed their father and you put them life in jail, their father will never come back. So the best thing to do is that we should look for a lasting solution to this crisis. Maybe react to what one person from Yaoundé I just said, that the population know where the Amber boys are and that they can always identify them. Those who don't live in the northwest and the southwest, they can say so. They can,
yeah, because the messenger, the best message is in Yaoundé.
Because he is in Yaoundé. I think he should go to Bamenda. When he reaches Bamenda, maybe he can help the military to identify. If you don't know the precarious nature in which people live in the northwest, then when you sit somewhere, it will just make that statement. Everything in the northwest matter. Everything. You have to be very, very careful the way you act or talk or say things in Bamenda. So when somebody sees someone just say the population know where the boys are. Yes, if you know where the boys are, and you take the military and go and show them. The military know that the boys are in the bushes. Yes, because we have instances. I remembered, I was listening to one parliamentarian during the last parliamentary session where he said he was going to, that when you are going to Bafut, you pass the military checkpoint and you pass and just a few meters ahead, you pass the amber checkpoints. I want to ask that viewer whether those military don't know that those boys are standing there. They know it. They know it. So that's why we learn that the situation is very, very complicated. It's a complicated situation. Then we talk about using the bullet to identify who killed who. It's a complex situation. Because we have a situation where military have been killed, their guns taken with their bullets. They say they have harvested, and they use the harvesting to fight. So in this scenario, and even
also situation where
Ambas have been killed and their bullet taken by the military, and made the military use it to fight.
Where somebody also goes and sell the bullet, a military officer also goes and sell the bullet to Amba and the rest.
We have had allegations like that. So it is extremely a senseless war, as we say. So I can only plead that government should look for a lasting solution to this problem. Because if you go to Bamenda, before you will feel the impact. If you go to Bamenda, you will feel the impact. When there is gunshot, we know that somebody is down or somebody is going. And sometimes when you say that, somebody asks you, where are you living? Just by identifying your quarter, somebody shout, you're living in that quarter. So it is a very precarious situation, which I think that time has come for government to say something.
Foncha Street. Song Derrick, can we actually have justice as far as the killings of Bamenda is concerned, and also those who have been killed innocently? We had a couple who were killed in Bamenda in the course of this the Nanchos incident. Can we have justice? Can we actually say justice can be served? Not looking at justice in the full terms of justice like Mr. Vitalis painted it, that if you kill somebody and somebody is put in prison, it will not bring back that person to say justice has been served. Let's also just say, can somebody take responsibility? Because you raised an issue there where you said the military sometimes dress casually to penetrate the hinterland. The Amba also sometimes dress with military attire to attack. And so, therefore, it's difficult to actually place responsibility. But I ask you this question: first, can justice be done? Second, who takes now full responsibility over this chaos? Should we just say, okay, because Amba goes and just the military, or military goes and just Amba, who cannot actually say somebody should take a responsibility?
Thank you very much, Jarvis. The question is a very tricky one. A very tricky one. Can we have justice? And I will reply you with a rhetoric. Who will give justice, if at all we are to have justice? Because the government has sinned against the population. The Ambazonians have sinned against the population. The military has sinned against the Amba. Amba has sinned against military. There is just that interwoven movement. So if there is to be justice, the question is, who will serve justice, and serve the justice to who? The justice we want is a justice first of ceasefire.
Both sides.
When we cease fire, we start solving the problem. Because the reason why we are asking this question is because we have not distinguished between the Anglophone problem, the Ambazonian problem, and the Anglophone question.
So we have the Anglophone problem by you, the
yes,
Ambazonian problem, and the
Anglophone question. And if we do not distinguish between those things, because you will bear with me that the refusal of a known problem is a direct invitation of an unknown problem. So where we are now is the fact that the government refused the known problem, which was the Anglophone problem. And because they refused that known problem that you and I know, which is the Anglophone problem, they directly invited the Ambazonian problem, which we don't know. And so, after we might have spent all the time to solve the unknown Ambazonian problem, we are going to sit back on the table to start from square one, to start looking how to solve the Anglophone problem or answer the Anglophone question, which till now has not been answered. If we are clear about that, then we know how to do it. But trust me, Jarvis, I have said it repeatedly, that Cameroon is made up of a lot of forest where there are many trees, mahoganies that we can cut down and build that big table to sit on. No matter how big that table is for us to sit and talk, we have the resources, we have the materials that we can get to build that table and sit on the round table, because round tables will always solve problems better than round bullets. But Yaoundé has gone for the bullet. And it is sad, because the moment you are killing the people, you are reducing the strength of the nation. Today we call Nigeria the giant of Africa. Trust me, one of the greatest factors that contribute Nigeria as a giant of Africa is her population. Meaning that in the population, we have those who are rich, we have the poorest, we have the richest, we have the best men of God, the best witch doctors, the best everything. You can go into that population and then you segment and you get the best of everything. That is why you see Nigeria, they are manufacturing their cars. Without publicity, you can see even some governors are making use of locally made cars. It is because of the population. But contrary to Cameroon, where we are still wanting that the population should grow and fit the surface area, we are killing ourselves. So there needs to be a clear dichotomy. I am coming back to put down squarely to your question. Can there be justice? And then the answer, justice to who? And justice by who? There cannot be any justice, because justice is an intercourse that comes from what? Peace and truth. Let us speak truth to ourselves. Let us bring peace. Let the man who called the war call for a ceasefire. Because one thing that Jarvis, you are an expert in conflict resolution. The two camps here are all extremists. The government is an extremist, and the Ambazonians, on the other hand, they are extremists. But trust me, if there was an opportunity to sit on a neutral table to talk, there will be compromise. That compromise will come when the guns must have been laid down. And when we lay down those guns, I have never seen a country where DDR comes before end of war. Cameroon has DDR when the war is going on.
But maybe the war ended at the time of the Grand Major National Dialogue now.
No,
okay, we have had the dialogue.
Most often when somebody talks about the Yaoundé one-man meeting as a dialogue, it irritates. Because that meeting was held in 2018.
September 30th.
2018. And the reason for that meeting was to end the war.
And other
4 years
in Cameroon
after, we are still fighting the war. We don't need to shout on microphones to say that the monologue was a fat failure. It failed from the inception.
Follow up. You made mention that we have three issues in the northwest and southwest region. That we have the Ambazonian problem, which we know nothing about, where that the government invited, and that we have the anglophone problem. The failure to resolve the anglophone problem brought the Ambazonian problem. I also talk about the anglophone question. But somebody really watching us probably understand Ambazonian problem, but does not know the anglophone question. And what is the anglophone question?
The anglophone question is simply the question of the anglophone's identity. To choose where to belong and where not to belong. To choose to be a part or not a part.
But they are choosing.
That is the question of the anglophones. And it is a question that has been unanswered for a long period of time. The anglophone problem was created as a result of the search or the posing of those questions that were not answered. But the Ambazonian war is as a result of the failure of resolving the anglophone question that gave rise to the anglophone problem. And they were hijacked. Today we hear that this one has repented, this one has repented, is now in a whatever. We know of stories of military who have left this country during this war. They have left. We know of people who have left quietly. They are better repentant than those people who say they are going to DDR and they are on life. Jarvis, can you imagine that somebody comes out and drops a gun to tell you that the Indian Sikhs have been killed? We killed them. We killed them. That they are no longer alive. And then the government says, and then they are taking the person to the DDR.
It's time for forgiveness.
I think, Jarvis, yes, it's time to forgive. For forgiveness.
Forgiveness is divine.
So let's make it clear. It is true we need to forgive ourselves. When you drop the arm after killing, remember, after this war, there will be settling of scores. Because in as much as the Ambazonians are killing, the military are killing, there is a middleman who is using the killing to settle scores. If you have been fighting a land in the southern Cameroon area with somebody and the person realizes that you are stronger, he can send somebody to gun you down in order to own that land. And either the military will be tacked or the Amba will be tacked. The good news to you is that you will get what you wanted. But that is not the point. So we should stop rigmaroling around who is shooting, who is killing who. Why is the shooting going on? And if you want to give percentages of resolving this crisis to the parties fighting, the government will hold at least, if you want to exaggerate it, or if you don't want to exaggerate it, the government will hold at least 70% of the solution of the problem. Maybe 20%, 10% will be going to the population, and then the remaining 20% will be going to the non-state armed forces. So, the question now we should be answering is, who should do what to stop the killing? Because we saw the funds. The funds announced a march after the killing. I was embarrassed.
After we saw the worst killing.
Yes, after we saw the supposed worst killing. Because the baby in Boya and that in Bamenda, that people came out of, and everywhere. That baby pulled out the crowd more than this one. But this one yesterday was the worst. Tomorrow we are going to hear that 20 other persons have been killed on their way to, and it will become the worst, and it will be another march. We march in Cameroon every day. Before I came to the studio, I was marching. So we march every day because the country, but the marching is not producing any result because there is somebody somewhere sitting in an office that is benefiting, even the colonels, the military top officials, because those who go to the northwest and southwest, they have allowances. So they have allowances.
But they are defending the interest.
No, they have allowances, and we cannot account for those who are dying until the war ends.
No, but they are defending the interest now. We are calling on them.
There are some people who are enjoying the goodies of this war.
The colonel are doing their job, and the military are trying to do their job to see that this conflict is resolved. You raised an issue. I'll briefly stay with you so that before I get to the others, they will just react on it. You raised an issue that Yaoundé has gone for bullets than tables. And you also say that let the man who called the war call for ceasefire. But Yaoundé will say, okay, we asked for people to drop their arms, we created DDR Center, we redeployed ministers, we also had the ministerial ad hoc committee where the Bamenda was for the teachers, the Yaoundé was for the lawyers. We also released some prisoners in 2018. That should be August 30th of August 2018, no 2019, 2018. Yaoundé will also say that we've created the House of Chiefs, we have also created an independent conciliator, we have also decentralized things so that these persons who are aggrieved with the anglophone problem, you see that the anglophone problem is being solved. At least, is it not also to recognize that effort has been made, though they were not commiserate to what we actually want, but at least effort has been made, not virtually the guns.
I've been in the classroom before. And there is one thing I learned. I've been in a classroom as a teacher, I've been in a classroom as a student. The GCE will be released anytime soon. And I will tell you one thing, that effort without results cannot be appreciated. You can read all night, and if you fail all day, you did not read.
Yeah.
Because people want to see. No, people want to see. No, people want to see. No, I'm just saying. I'm going to the natural world.
Yes.
You can study all night and you fail all day. You did not study.
Why did this
People, Jarvis, please, let's speak it. People will not appreciate efforts until they see results. The reason why you are doing the effort is to see the result. So, upon the litany of everything you have called, question, are the results visible? If the guns are still smoking, whereas the purpose, the raison d'etre for the litany of those things you are listing was to seize the gun, or to put down the gun. If the guns are still smoking, then we cannot appreciate efforts without results.
Briefly, so I go to Tebong.
There's something I get very confused. When they are marching, like the chief organize their march. Are they marching for the Amber Boys or for the government?
Stop the killing.
To stop the killing.
They are marching to stop the killing. They are marching to stop the killing.
I think that if something happens and we decide to organize a march in Douala, it is because I don't have access to see the President of the Republic. But if I'm part of some of the top decision makers, and there's something.
Yeah, because we've seen ministers marching for who? To stop the war.
And clearly know that marching cannot stop the war.
That is a government official. You have just said it. These are government officials.
The Amber Boys, they know very well. Sometimes just that we just want to like pretend. Yes. Even those who organize the march, they know that even if they march, their legs swollen,
yes,
Amber Boys will not put down their guns.
Yeah.
They know if people have been marching. Yeah, the kids children in Kumba doing school shooting, people march. In Boya, people march. In Bamenda, people have been marching, and nothing happens. I think that since they are those that are closer to decision making, they should be the people to now say, okay, these things we have been marching until our feet are swelling, nothing is moving. Let's look for an alternative situation rather than saying that okay, anytime we march, so people are killed, we say no, we condemn and we march. Let us not take this United Nations approach where people are killed, we say we condemn, and they keep on killing people every day. I think that this is the time that those who have the power, those who are closer to the government, those who are closer to the head of state, to tell them that no, President, all these things that we have been doing, all this PECO, let me say.
Because it's like Derrick said, you read all night.
All this speculation,
they don't see the results.
Let's now read another thing that can bring result. Because all what we are doing is not using any fruit.
Good afternoon, House of Commons. The two English regions have two main problems: the Ambazonian problem and Anglophone problem. The Ambazonian problem have successfully diverting the government from solving the Anglophone problem, and the government should revise the history of the Anglophones. This one, right, it says, truth be told, Northwest, this is xenophobic utterance. Why all the killings and roadblocks in the Northwest? They should allow people to live their life. The crisis will not be solved by Pascal Mungang from Limbe. Pascal, we are trying to avoid the hate speech. Attacking some group of people as people who like violence is hate speech. I don't believe that Song Derrick, who is from the Northwest, like violence. I don't believe that myself, who is from the Northwest, like violence. I don't believe that Minister Paul Latanganji, who is from the Northwest, and his Cameroon Territorial Administrator boss, like violence. I don't also believe that His Excellency, former Prime Minister Yang Philomon, who is also from the Northwest, like violence. I don't believe that Madame Rose also like violence. I don't believe that a particular group of people like violence. And I also believe that you who text like violence. So we cannot isolate or group a particular people by virtue of something that happens in an area and make a generalization that people of this particular ethnic origin like violence, hate speech. And we have to educate our people to understand that there are isolated cases. That somebody from a particular region has done something doesn't necessarily mean that everybody in that region has done that same thing. There are good people across the nation, from the Northwest, Southwest, West, Littoral, Center, Ebabga, everywhere. There are good people and there are also people who seek the contrary. So we cannot generalize it. I'll take on this one. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. I am a keen follower of your program. Thumbs up. My brother, I wish to find out if all the NGOs operating in the country can't send a strong alarm to the United Nations, or in other hand in the United Nations not aware, or in the other hand is the United Nations not aware of the happening in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, or they want that the population of these two regions be wiped before they come to the scene. Well, as one of your panel members just cited out, I believe those in the government in charge of military logistics are, and those anglophones in Yaoundé should be held responsible because they are feeding the head of state with wrong information. Please stop calling, feeding the head of state with wrong information. This is a possible end to the conflict. There is a possible end to these killings. It is high time we look eye to eye and say, let us stop the war. This is Chief Eswa 1 from Bonaberry. Dear Jarvis, between those who are in prison, who never held a gun, and the repentant fighters who have killed many people, who should the government forgive first? Why should the government not forgive and release them? Nkwan Jacob, writing from Kombo. This it says, good afternoon, dear panelists. It is Donald from Equatorial Guinea. Love your contribution. Love your program. The topic in question and contribution from all panelists from their mastery of the crisis. Having said so, the government has vehemently refused to solve the anglophone crisis for assimilation purpose, and separatists have stood their grounds to self-defense and liberation policy. Government should dialogue with the jailed leaders of the struggle. No two ways about it to face the darkest future. Golof, writing from Moyoka, I think the politicians are contributing for the problem of this crisis because of their selfish benefits. Let me just second. This is time for come to you, Christain Tebong. Good day, Mr. Jarvis. I am Armstrong from Mundimba. I'm watching you guys live. Greetings, Mr. Jarvis. The current crisis in the northwest and southwest is really going out of hand because we can't identify both military and the separatist fighters. Still, the government is still watching people dying day after day. Thank you very much, Tebong. You said, I'm sure when Song Derrick also raised the issue, you are against the DDR Center. Yeah. And you said the DDR Center has not done us good as far as this conflict. And you said the government is taking 2 steps ahead and take a step ahead. Are you by chance saying that it's not time for forgiveness? Because there's a forgiveness is divine, to err is human, and to forgive is divine. And blessed are the peacemaker. Maybe the government is saying, okay, this is DDR Center. It's time for us to forgive each other. And so, why are you guys against this forgivement policy?
In every,
or why do you see it a contrary that it's a step that should be reconsidered?
Yes, in every method used in conflict resolution, whenever you take a decision, whenever you take an approach and you see that it's not working in order to resolve a particular conflict, you redress it, so you step off from that particular decision you have taken, that particular approach you have taken. I want to say that there are communities in the northwest and southwest that they do not have amber. They don't have even a single amber boy operating in the area, but they still respect Ghost Town. Yeah, I'm telling you, go and find out. I want to tell you that the road leaving Bamenda, Trongo, Kitunja, Bui, and Donga Mantum is blocked, but there's no single barricade there on the road.
Yeah,
that is
a sad reality.
Okay. To say that the government is welcoming people who have carried guns and they feel that that is their own way to solve the problem, I say big no. We are not against the DDR Center. The DDR Center should come alongside the Peace and Reconciliation Commission, where everybody from every grouping in the country is supposed to be made member of that reconciliation commission. You cannot create a DDR now, and you see that the war is still going on.
But they said, a minister once said, the war is ended, just a handful of...
Okay, they killed 10 civilians in Bamenda few days ago. Should the people get up now and go to the brigade commander that, oh, Mr. Brigade Commander, we're the one who killed the 10 people, would they forgive them? If you are pleased, will you forgive them?
Following the DDR.
Okay.
I've got a few that are remaining.
You see, this one, I want us to, we should not be logical in solving the problem. We should be realistic. We should say things that we want. If we want peace to return, we should not, because we've noticed that Jarvis, every day we come and talk and we don't see any change. We've been talking here since the start of this crisis. We've been talking, we've been dialoguing. I want to tell you that even Tassan Wifre, who is in prison, had dialogue with the government. Agobala had dialogue with the government. If we've missed the point, we need to come back to that point. We need to come back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, what have we done that is not going? What have we done wrong? Where are we? If we've gone out of the line, then we should go back to the line. I want to say that in the process of decentralization that the government is preaching, accelerated decentralization, Jarvis, we should start from community to community to see how the government can empower the communities to talk with the guys carrying weapons. Remember that these guys who are carrying weapons, they are not coming from somewhere. They are children from Northwest and Southwest. They are people that if you see them, maybe they disguise and go. If you see them physically, you will be shocked. These are not people coming from somewhere. They can equally listen. If they can listen to the sound of their bullets from the sounds of their guns, why do you think that they cannot listen to people? The government, what I am saying is that the government should not play hypocrisy. We tend to take the anglophone problem, the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest region to be a political bargain, where when something happens, you see politician comes out, they come and organize a march. Who printed the banner? Who gave them the money? I think somebody should be embezzling our money to be doing all those things. Where is the money coming from?
Goodwill.
Goodwill from who?
From the people affected now.
Then I think they should contribute money and give to those little children that the couple left. How many of them have visited the family? You see, we should not be doing things. The fund of Bambalang, who did that, maybe it was a good initiative, but I am thinking that if we want to collectively solve the problem in Anglophone Cameroon, remember the problem did not start now. If you go back to your history books, you'll notice that we have our grandparents who left Enugu, the Eastern House. They were angry, they left because somebody was not treating them well. They came here, they tried to form a state, it could not go. They joined the La République du Cameroun. It is fact. And if the government knows that this group of people, as the head of state once said when he attended the Mo Ibrahim conference, he said, we have tried to assimilate these people, but these people seems not to be comfortable with assimilation. It is not our policy. It's not part of us. We give freedom to everybody. We are free citizens. Those of us from the Northwest and Southwest, we like to live freely, and we don't like to be chained. We don't like that some strings should be attached to our freedom. And if we are in the Republic of Cameroon, that we want to behave the way our colonial masters groom us, they should be able to allow us. And if they allow the people of the Northwest and Southwest to behave like the Englishman, I think the amber will die naturally. Yeah, they will not. You will not even hear about gunmen. Not to take them and cage them somewhere, give them our food. There are people on the street of Douala in Yaoundé elsewhere that they don't have food. But you take some people whom They have committed atrocities.
Somebody asked a question, maybe you cue in there, that those who are in prison who never took guns, and those who took guns and killed, that who should be forgiven more? Who should forgiveness go to?
If a lawyer, a jurist was here, he would have been a better place to answer that question within the ambit of the law. But I want to say, from a layman, because I'm layman when it comes to the law, the crime committed by those holding the guns is grievous than somebody who stood up to say that no, our people are suffering. Somebody who stood up to say that there's bad road. Somebody there. Let me tell you, what we are saying. There are many other people who are criticizing the government than those people in the prisons. Even in the East, what we call East Cameroon, in the other regions of the country. Okay,
let me just take on some messages. Those watching us on social media, on Facebook, we want to appreciate your comments on Facebook. We want to say that we understand that you are following us, and we appreciate you wholeheartedly, and we also beg that you share the program to give other persons to know what is ongoing, so that they can send their own contributions and many more people can get engaged. This is Kobo Kobo writing on Facebook. Kobo Kobo, happy Sunday to you. Teo Cruz, happy Sundays to you. Happy Sunday to you too. Aruna Nyamsi, happy Sunday to you. Betangu, happy Sunday to you. Ndam Julius, happy Sunday to you. Mark Amos Andy, the controversial Andy, happy Sunday to you. Andy says, hello Jarvis, it is regrettable that 10 people are killed and there is no official statement from the government. There is a clear indication that human life doesn't matter to Yaoundé regime. Where is the president? Missing in action. So sad. Greetings from Boston.
I want to say, Jarvis, the government gave an official communique.
Yes, the government gave an official communique.
The spokesman of the army,
Minister of Research
Atonfak, gave a communique. The governor spoke on telephone to CRTV.
But your problem on this is that actually 15 were killed,
but 10 were announced.
What of the 5? Yes. And that's where we ask with justice.
And now we've gotten the story
of the 5.
And if the story is true,
if it's true, because they're not verified.
If it is true, then we can now see why the government is silent on the 5.
Those who met the program halfway, please, you can, after the program, can rewatch to know from the beginning, and also to get the editorial, because I'm getting a lot of people writing on Facebook. This for instance is watching from Canada. Melvis B. Melvis, happy Sunday to you. Melvis B. watching from Canada. This one right, it says, we admire Rufai. How we wish our nation could let our journalists become this free to speak the truth is really sad. My brother Jarvis speaks the truth. What become of him? Remember, Nigeria has freedom of speech. So right, Kobo Kobo says, Jarvis, I know you can say the truth here like Rufai Osemu from Nigeria. We know.
Yeah. When the marching was going on in Bamenda, there was this local television radio channel that I was listening to. So many people were calling and asking, does that mean that the 5 that were killed were not important? Why is that they've only organized
march for 10
people? Maybe that's what, yes, maybe that's one of the reasons why many people did not come out to march. Then it is actually very, very sad that, as you said, 15 people are killed, only
10 announced.
I'm sure it only goes to eradicate, to radicalize the population the more. Then one thing that those people should understand is that, see, maybe those who are in Yaoundé, those who are in power, those who have big power, those who have the big people in Yaoundé, the truth is that when you go to Bamenda and you go to the layman, they still sympathize with the separatists. That is the fact.
Because the anglophone problem has not been solved.
Because the anglophone problem has not been solved. I think it was after putting down this accelerated decentralization, which the government thinks that can work, they will now say, okay, Mancho BBC, since you are complaining that
there's bad road,
we are now fixing the road. The road from Babaju to Bamenda will soon be completed. Okay, you go to Bamenda and you tell your people that what I was crying for now, the government is doing it. Good. I think if then other people too can be released.
All in connection this crisis.
Yes. Look, there's something that people maybe when they're afraid to say it. The anglophone, they still believe very much in those who are in Kundenge. Yeah. They still believe very much in them. Yes. Why? Because when I go to Bamenda, I want to.
Like he said that the areas where they don't have fighters, but they respect Gustav.
Yes. When I go to Bamenda, I want to be with the lay people, with the people that drink share. So, yes. Because when you're with them, you get the real facts. They still sympathize with, although in public they might not say it for fear of being arrested.
Maybe I read on some messages so that maybe you can react on them before coming to you, Song Derrick. We're almost out of time. We just have about 3 minutes to go. Good morning, Mr. Jarvis. Please, I still have my worry about the killing of the 10 civilians in Nancho. Please, Mr. Jarvis, can you clearly tell us who killed the 10 civilians in Nancho? This is Bonas.
The court will decide.
Yeah, that is the confusion that when you go to Bamenda, people are saying some people are attacking the military, some people are attacking the ambas. Some people say no, the military.
But you are in Bamenda. You are in Bamenda.
No, I'm in Bamenda. I'm not an investigator.
No, you are not an investigator, but you are hearing.
Yes, I'm getting you the versions that I'm hearing. Yes, and I'm giving you the versions that I hear.
And that's the reason why I said that there is no reason pointing finger to who did what, but we have a reason pointing finger to why is it happening?
Yeah, why is it persisting?
And how can we stop it? Because if we point fingers to the military, it doesn't still bring back life. If we point it to the Amba, it doesn't bring back life. And the more fingers we point, tomorrow some other thing will still happen.
Yeah, you painted a beautiful picture that sometimes you see these people wear military attire and go and carry. You see these people go on civilians, so it's difficult to actually paint. Hello, Mr. Jarvis. I am Didar, a Daf writing from Nkwen village. I think it is difficult for justice to be done because the top ranking officials are really making huge sums of money from the crisis. We need a neutral body to end this war. The question is, where will be the neutral body? Good afternoon in the studio. Okay, one Cameroon was united at first. Why not Precious Bamenda? This one also right. It says there's something, my brother, there's something that bothers me about the military on the road checkpoint. Is there any law that drivers should give money because they no longer check car document but ask only for money? Some checkpoints in Fumban Road ask passengers for 500 each. Is it the Minister of Transport aware of this?
They should pay. Let me. I had an experience last Friday when I was traveling. A vehicle came. I was traveling one travel agency. They came when they reached the control point. The motorboy just run and go and give money and come back. I asked the motorboy, "Why are you giving money? Do you have problems with your car document?" He said, "No, I know why they begin delaying and why they give money." So sometimes you don't blame the officers for taking money. Sometimes the drivers, they are the people who coerce them to collect money.
We should blame them.
Okay.
No, Mr. Excuse me.
Quick one.
Yes, Mr. Vitalis, I'm saying that we cannot blame those on the checkpoints, the soldiers, but we blame Cameroonians who have refused to be patriotic, who have gone to school. I don't want to implement what they have studied in school.
Okay. Happy Sunday to you people in the studio. CPDM regime, no wit to do. Papa God take control. This all right. This is greetings to you all in the studio. Great minds, eye openers. War is risky instrument policy. Continue brutally causing bleed of people. 10 children plus killed, and a father of the house is not heard. No, we have not heard him or his voice marching. The marching and placing wrath. It will never solve this carnage. Let the government call off the war. Declared. This is through Emmanuel. We're out of time. Last of all, go Song Derrick.
Thank you very much, Jarvis. Thank you to the million viewers of Media Prime House of Common. Someone said somewhere that if this war finishes and either the Amba or the military, those who are sent in the Northwest and Southwest, do not construct houses, they will never construct someday. This is because it is a war of economy and some people are getting so rich. And it is sad to know that 10 are killed, 15 are killed, 10 are accounted for, and then 5 are not. I don't know whether the 10 were killed by an enemy and the other 5 were killed by friends. And then they cannot be announced. But so to speak, I will end by making it clear that if you don't know where you are going to, any road can lead you there. So, and if you take 1,000 steps to the wrong direction, it will be very important to take back 1 step to the right direction. So I'm calling on Cameroonians who love Cameroon. I'm calling on the government that hold the buttons of the solution to understand that it is far more honorable to protect life and lose power than to protect power and lose life. Cameroonians that we are losing are our human resources, and they are the most important resources that we have in this nation to protect. Thank you, Jarvis.
The last one before we go.
Thank you. I know that we are out of time. I will say here, Jarvis, that if we want to come out of the anglophone crisis, the problems that we are facing in the northwest and southwest region, we should take a step back. We listen to what we were said in Parliament. We go back to Agobala, a very respected human dignity of the northwest and the southwest region of the anglophone country, and we look forward to listen to them, and we see how we can come out of it. Secondly, I know General Dobikrio is a very respectable general in the northwest region. Please, you should try by all possible means to make northwest region have peace again.
Your last one before we go.
My last word to the government is that since the major national dialogue did not solve our problem, I think that, as my brother said, it is time we should hold another one to make sure that all our grievances are brought into the table.
Said the trees are still there.
Yes, we discuss and we can't look for a solution to this problem once and for all. I wish to take the opportunity to greet my friend, Mr. Tah Felix, and my little son in the house, Mr. Kimbang Samuel Bonye.
Thank you. Good day, Mr. Jarvis. Carl from Mundemba. The people who are behind all this situation is us, Anglophone, especially our elite. This one, right, it says, Elvis from Limbe. Good afternoon to you in the studio. I want to ask the question if the government can forgive someone like Shinorambo, Clovis, who have carried arms and killed people. Why can't they forgive Mancho, BBC, Siseko, who have not carried guns? Good afternoon to you. This one's a good afternoon. And thank you, all those of you who have taken out time. I am Dieudonné from Boya. Good afternoon. The problem is the fact that the government is not sincere, because this country is supposed to be 2 states, but the government has decided to change the status of the country because of their mindset. Sorry, excuse me. Pascal writing from Limbe, a message is gotten. He says, I feel you misinterpreted my text. I'm not accusing the Northwesterners for being violent. My point is that Northwest is not different from Cameroon, so they should not be imposing all those roadblocks. I am from Northwest, but I can't visit my village. How does it help? Makes no sense to me. Pascal, at least Pascal, this message is good. I did not misrepresent it by saying that some people from the particular region, why is it that these people from this region like this? That's what interpreted as hate speech. Thank you very much. I want to also say Muma Silvanus, who have gotten your message, thank you very much. The Latoms family, thank you very much. Thanks to all those of you who took our time to be part of this program. I want to also thank you, Desmond Akeba, for production. I want to also thank you to the broadcasters, Alan at the broadcasting department, and thanks all those who took our time. I want to say once more happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert from the United States and the wife, and also happy Sunday to you, Antoinette Amoke. To all those of you who took our time to watch the program, I leave you with this: no matter their matter, what matters is your matter, and what matters is for you to stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Mai Jarvis from Cameroon's commercial capital, Fengu John Bange. See you next week Sunday, same time, same frequency on My Media Prime Television. Bye bye.